get benefited of from the journey where we started and where we see when it's typically important when we are looking forward for Olympic 2036 that is likely to happen in India. We need to be prepared for, gear up ourselves to excel in the sports. But at the same time, unfortunately, India is, on the top three dope violation, which happens majorly through the supplements. So when we talk about uh, supplements in sports, just to brief about how we started this journey way back in 2007, 8. Just a brief that, my wife, she's a nutritionist, and my son was born premature. So today my talk is majorly from a parent angle and not from the managing director of Nutra Supplements. Because I have two kids who are both into sports. As a parent, we always have some, wanted them to, take up some sport to be in, live healthy lifestyle. It really started, when my son was born premature by a month, and he had a lot of issues at his young age. It really changed everything when, it literally helped us in, when he started into sports at the age of 8 years. My wife, being a nutritionist, tried to understand that what kind of supplements are, required for him for that age group. And unfortunately, there were no supplements for the tender age group uh, as young as 8-year-old. So she started formulating on her own. And today, after 20, I think it's almost 15, 16 years, we can proudly say that, my son represented India in skating. He became the fastest skater in his age group. And this is all uh, being supplemented by the specialized supplements that we formulated for him. And then eventually we started working into formulation of the supplements and manufacturing of supplements in India. So that's the brief journey that we started with. When we talk about sports, let's understand that what sports actually means. It's an physical exertion of energy. Now, when we talk about energy, as everybody knows that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, but can be converted from one part to another. So if you need energy for your sports, from where it will come? It will come from the food. Food stores energy in a chemical form. When you exert, convert that chemical energy into physical energy. And that's how you are able to perform the or excel into the sports. Now, to understand, before even we go for how the supplements play or the food that we eat plays a, specific role in specific sports, let's understand there are three types of energies where the sports in our body generally uses. Or, it's the entire sports can be divided into three parts in the three durations, I would say. One sports, like sprinting, where it's the event is less than 10 seconds. That require one point type of energy, which is called ATP-CP. With the second level of energy is required for the game between 10 seconds to 2 minutes. And then the third, basically, it particularly from 2 minutes and above. So you need to fuel your body in the same way, the way it is required. It has to be stored in a similar manner. And energy requirement for that specific sports depend on the nature of sport that you're into. Like, for example, if you're into running, but if it's sprinting and marathon, Now, the sprinting is normally 100 meters. It's the time duration required is about maybe a minute or of 10 seconds or 12 seconds or maximum to 15 seconds, where there is a spurt of energy required. But in marathon, if you look at short marathon or long marathon, then the duration may be with few hours. So there, the energy requirement is different. So when we are playing any sports, you need to understand that what is the way and means that we can get that specific energy that can be stored in your body and which will convert into physical energy during your play. So it is extremely important to understand that what sport you are into and what kind of energy requirement for that specific sports is. Now, what happens, due to poor nutrition? There are so many kids that comes up to us and say that, my kid plays a sport, but then he is not able to grow. His height is not increasing. Now, to be very honest, whatever the advertisements and other things may go, but there is no supplements which can increase your height per se. If you want to understand the ill effect of sports, now unfortunately, what happens when you start playing any sports. uh, you know at initial stages you start performing better, so you are bound to take more extra efforts because you want to be in the top 3, 4 or 10. And then because of this overexertion you are not able to deliver properly because you are not eating, you are exerting more energy than what is being consumed by you during that particular period. So normally the ill effect of sports or of poor nutrition is happens, and the protein energy malnutrition. You are eating, but then your body is not able to build the muscles what it is needed for your body to perform. Then there are micronutrient deficiencies, as vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin D, B12, and so on and so forth. These are because whatever you are getting from the normal, you are exerting more on the ground, and if it is not able to replenish properly, then the deficiencies increases and lead to deficiencies kind of thing. Now, when we talk about supplements, are they really required? You know, now you must have the exam period is going on currently. I always give one simple example to all the kids that along with question paper, what you normally get, you get the answer sheet. And once you are done with answer sheet, what you get thereafter, you get the supplements. So supplements is something that is required beyond your if it is answer sheet is completed, then you require the supplements. So we need to understand same thing is with your food as well. If you are doing the sedentary work, your normal food may be sufficient for you. But if you are exerting more than then we are and then the way that you are exerting, not able to the nutrition is not enough, then there might be a need of supplements. Now, supplements is not something that everyone. It's not a generalized kind of supplement that we will try to learn or understand in few slides to come. So when we talk about supplementation, you need to understand that why there is a need of supplementation in my body. How much I am exerting. It's a science behind it. You need to understand that it's always the food first policy. As I mentioned earlier, that you get supplement only in your exam once you are completed with your answer sheet. Similarly, the food first policy is always there. You don't jump for the supplements are not the replacement of a basic diet, but the additional requirement if in a normal food, if you're not able to get all the elements which are needed for your sports or your activity, then only you need to go for supplementation part of it. Now let's understand the basic sports nutrition and supplement part of it. I don't want to go into the depth of what is protein, fat, carbohydrates. all that stuff. Everybody knows now. I just wanted to give inference that how our body uses this fat, protein, carbohydrates, and other micro and macronutrients in our body. Just take an example of a cornetto ice cream. I know everybody of you knows the cornetto cone. Now, what it consists of? There is a cone, there is a ice cream on it, and there is a small piece of chocolate at the end of it. So our body also have similar kind of function when it comes to the protein, fat, and carbohydrates. So the carbohydrate resembles to the ice cream, which is on the top of the cone. So when you start exerting your body, what happens is that, the carbohydrates in your body starts getting depleted. So that is the first source of energy that you get. So when you start eating ice cream, till the age of cone, you are able to eat the ice cream. But thereafter, you need to eat the cone, the small bite of cone, and then only you are able to eat ice cream. So the cone resembles to the protein in your body. So the more the number of cones, you are able to store more number of carbohydrates into it. That means muscles, which are basically nothing but made up of protein, the number of it, the carbohydrate storage depends upon the amount of muscle build that your body has. What happens to your body when you start playing into this? So your body start consuming the muscle, it breaks the muscles and start eating into it. Now, when this continuously is being done, now the use of what do you say? The chocolate is at the end, which resembles the fat in your body. So this plays actually the very vital role for, as far as the endurance sport is concerned, but it comes at last. So in our body, the more the muscle you have, more amount of carbohydrate storage is possible, to be stored in your body. Now, very funny thing in our body is that, you can store fat up to few hundred kgs, no problem, which is not required. Body stores it to a maximum capacity. Next is the best source of energy that can get converted into the chemical form into physical activity or mechanical energy is carbohydrates. Now that storage is not sufficient. Our body, a fully grown body, can store only 450 grams of carbohydrates. Anything excess to that, it gets converted into fat. Similarly with protein, our body can store protein. Of course, it is more than carbohydrates, but again, it is less than fat. So, but if you compare the energy that is given to for the chemical energy that is stored in terms of carbohydrates, 1 gram of carbohydrates can store only up to 4 grams of. It gives 4 grams of kilocalories. 4 kilocalories. Protein also gives 4 kilocalories, while fat, which is actually ample amount in your body, can deliver 9 kilocalories. The main problem with this is converting that fat into energy is a tedious job, and your body takes a lot of time to understand the need. Of course, fat and carbohydrate plays a vital role in your longer duration sports, while protein and carbohydrate plays a very vital role in the short duration of your activity. Now let's understand, there is a lot of confusion between energy drink and sports drink. So what is energy drink, and what is the difference between energy drink and sports drink? Energy drink has maximum amount of sugar, which is available. These drinks contains only sugar. Sports drink are the drinks which are actually contains electrolytes as well. Now let's understand that, what is needed, particularly in terms of sports. What kind of drink that you should have during the training or before training and after training. If you want to really break it down to the further activities, if you train normally with normal intensity for say about 30 minutes or so, 30 to 45 minutes as medium intensity, then there is absolutely no need of any supplements. If you can have a plain water, that is enough for you. If you increase the intensity, you are playing with, playing and exerting to a certain extent of maybe say for 1 hour, then you need to have a carbohydrate drinks. If you are playing more than that and you are sweating also, then there is a imbalance of electrolytes, that the salts are removed from your body by way of sweat. So you need to replenish during your drink. So it is called as electrolyte, which is a basically a combination of sugars. But again, coming back to what you also should understand, the electrolytes which are made needs to have three types of sugar into it: glucose, fructose, and maltose. So that every sugar has a different role to play. It gets absorbed at different level and gives energy at different level. So you need to understand that, while using any sports drink, you need to see the label whether it contains only salts and sugar, but if it is sugar, then which kind of sugar that is there into it. Then comes if you are exerting more than 1.5 hour, 2 hours, then only electrolytes will not serve the purpose. You need to have a combination of a little bit of liquid protein balanced with carbohydrates, because you need to have a continuation of replenishment of your muscles which are getting breakdown eventually. You need to balance out at periodic level. The hydration part, plain water again plays a very, very vital role in the sports performance. It is said that 2% of dehydration can reduce your sport performance by almost 23 to 24%. That much importance is given to the water. Before starting any physical activity, you need to have water. During any physical activity, you need to have, water. We have recommended to many schools that they need to have a water bell, which makes compulsory for the students to have a sip of water every alternate or every in certain specific interval. Now, if you want to check that, am I hydrated? Am I drinking enough water or not? There are scientific methods, of course, to check the pH value and other things, but those are only lab tested. The simple way is to check your urine color. If it is too white, that means you are overhydrated. That is also not good, because all the salts which are stored in your body gets drained off. If it is slightly yellowish, then yes, you are hydrated. If it is more yellow, then you are dehydrated. And if it is towards reddish, that is you are extremely dehydrated. So you need to watch whenever you go for for urine. You need to check and watch the color of your urine. If it is yellow and towards red, then you need to come and sip uh, uh, some water so as to hydrate yourself. So these are the easiest way of getting yourself hydrated. Now coming to the supplement part of it, particularly the protein supplements, which are very, very commonly used. Uh, Again, why you should have the protein supplements, or why there is an importance of protein supplements so much in the market. Why there is a need? You need to understand that first. What happens when you start, as I mentioned earlier, if your body starts eating the cone, that is the muscles, and if it is not replenished in time, then you end up in having stress fractures or muscle injuries, or what is called as training induced injuries. So that has to be recovered as fast as possible. Now, there are you may say that, okay, after my training part, I will have chicken or fish or eggs or all kind of other vegetarian sources of protein. Then why should I need protein? Yes, you're right. We need to understand that protein requirement in our body is for two purposes. One is for building the muscles, right from hair to your nails. Everything is made up of protein. If you remove the water from your body, whatever remains, 70% is protein. So much important is given to the protein. It's, our body is made up of protein. So if we lag in protein, then entire functions get disrupted. So this is the importance of protein. Then what are the sources that we get and how we should understand and how much is, daily requirement and what are the requirement from the daily food that we can get? Let's understand that. For a person like me who is 50 plus and doing sedentary work, my requirement may be 0.8 grams up to maximum to 1 gram of protein of my body weight. But as a kid, your requirement is much more than an grown-up adult. You are growing also, you are playing also. So your requirement is to the tune of 1.2 to 1.5 grams, depending on the sports and the amount of exertion that you are doing. Now let's assume that you are 40 kg and you need about 1.5 grams of protein. That means you require about 60 grams of protein on daily basis. Now, if you try to take this entire protein by natural way, as I mentioned earlier, uh, compare that with a egg or egg white. A full egg will have about 6.5 grams of protein. Egg white will have around 3.5 to 4 grams of protein. Consider it as an egg, whole egg. To get 60 grams of protein from a natural diet, where egg is the best source of protein, you need to eat 10 eggs on a daily basis, which is practically not possible. You may eat one or two eggs, but not on a regular basis. And eggs doesn't only have protein, it has also fat and other, nutrients, which may be harmful if you take in an excess quantity. So then where this excess amount of protein will come from? So of course, food first policy is always there. 60, 65, 70% should come from your natural diet, which is your rice, roti, beans, chicken, fish, everything it is extremely important. But whatever is needed by maybe 15, 20 grams, which is needed additionally part of it can become from the supplementation part. And if you are able to get total amount of protein, what is required by a natural diet, still when you play, when you exert, your muscle breakdown happens. And to recover that muscle, you require to have a liquid protein. So even if you are getting the 100% protein for your building purpose of your body, still for a recovery part of it, you would need 25 to 30, 15 to 20 grams of liquid protein immediately after your workout. So that we have come to why we may need protein supplements. Now, which again, it's a big question mark because there are so many sources of protein supplements, particularly. There are pea proteins are there, egg whites are, that is albumin protein is there, soya isolates, soybean, basically the form of purified is there, whey is there. Again, whey, there are four different categories are there: demineralized whey, whey concentrate, whey isolate, and whey hydrolyzed. So, which is suitable for your age is and how much time that you are going to consume that is also a important point of decision and discussion. For example, a sports person who normally starts sports maybe at the age of 3, 5, or let's say 8 years, and he's going to perform or he's going to play or continue till his age of 25 or 28 years. So almost about 15 to 20 years he's going to play. And then if he is taking the supplements, it should be safe enough for his consumption as well. It should not have any side effects. It should not have any, the supplement should be complementing his efforts and not putting the excess load on his kidney or otherwise. It should not have any. It should be purified form. For example, if you are between 5 years to 8 years, then you cannot have the protein which is very highly concentrated or very highly purified one, because it get digested or these are pre-digested and may have adverse effect on your kidney. Again, if you are using the soya isolates, there are so many research that are there which has reflected that if you are taking soya isolates or soya proteins on a longer duration, particularly for the growing boys and girls, it is not advisable because there are a lot of harmonic changes that happens in your body. And if you take those supplements for a longer period, it may again have an adverse effect. But yes, these supplements are wellness supplements. If you are taking those supplements for 1 or 2 months because of certain reasons and you are stopping it, it's okay. But these supplements are not suitable for long-term usage. What is the world over? A lot of research has been done on whey concentrate, whey isolates, and all these kind of whey proteins are particularly happens to be safe. But then again, you need to have a very as per your age, you need to understand that which kind of whey protein is suitable for what. For example, if you are up to 8 years or 9 years, then demineralized whey, where all the heavy metals are being removed from your body, and then those are safe to consume. If you are a little bit more older, like from 8 to 15 years, then maybe a small amount of demineralized whey combined with whey concentrate is suitable. If you are above 15 years and 18 years, then a part of whey concentrate and isolate is suitable for you. And if you're above 18, then yes, whey isolate may be suitable for you. But again, you need to understand why you are taking this, how much needs to be taken, and when. Now, coming to the part when, you know, if you try to, again, coming back to the energy requirements, you need energy. When you start playing anything, you need energy. So that energy comes from carbohydrates. If you're taking protein before your exercise, we have been training or giving lectures to many army institutes where they have a habit of eating soaked almonds early morning prior to their training. Eating almonds again is not a bad. It actually is very good. Only the timing needs to be changed. If you have 2 dates and a sip of water before your training, your fatigue gets delayed. And if you have those almonds after your training, it is more beneficial than what is required. Again, banana, it's a good amount of carbohydrate. It can replenish your carbohydrates immediately. If you are taking during and after your training, it helps you a lot. So protein normally is taken after the training part of it. It is 45 to 1 hour is considered as a golden period when your muscle uh, has been broken down to deliver energy. They need to be repaired, and so that 45 to 1 hour is considered as a golden hour to consume these protein supplements. Now, how much is again depends upon the height, weight, nature of game, phase of training, how much you're getting from a normal food, and then you need to calculate it. It's not, again, I'm telling supplements are supplementary, it's complementing your efforts, and it is not a replacement to your basic food. So when you talk about micronutrients is like vitamins, minerals, those are equally important like vitamin C, vitamin A, vitamin D, iron, particularly if you're a swimmer. And the moment you come out of water, if you are shivering a lot, that means you are iron deficient. It may be. So, but to understand the micronutrient deficiency, you need to do the blood profiling to understand that which micronutrients are suitable, more beneficial for your sports, and is that thing adequate in your body or not. Again, nitrate, these are when Inspire Institute of Sports tested almost 200 young girls who are into sports, and they found that 94% of the girls are anemic, that are less in their, anemic and anemia with iron deficiencies. So there are options of getting iron from the normal food, but there are also options to have giving in the supplementation part. But again, if it is a safest way is to give through beetroot, which is actually in a content lot of nitrate into it, which is a complex form of iron. It gives a good beneficial, benefits to the athlete to regain his, iron part of it. Again, if you are deficient with B12, then again, there are various sources. But again, you need to understand which deficiencies are there in your body, and this can only be understood by way of blood profiling. And once you understand that, then only go for the supplementation part of it. As I mentioned, supplement requirement depends upon various factors, age, as we discussed earlier, right from we start game as young as 5 years. So 5 to 8 years, you are still growing. Your absorption is not fully developed. So there should be not a load on your body to absorb. So you need to select the supplement depending upon the age. Gender, 8 to 15, boys and girls grow differently. So there is a need of different supplements during that particular age. Boys may require a bit of more calcium because they are growing at a different, in different way. Female athletes, particularly girls between 8 to 15, again, lot of metabolic things happening in a body. So you may require iron as an additional source in your supplements. When you talk about nature of sports, again, right from if you are a sprinting, you're a marathoner or a boxer or a cricketer or a badminton player, you need to understand which kind of energy system is required by that specific sport. What is the need of that, uh, which are the natural sources to get that energy? And if not, what are the additional things and what are the type of supplement that are needed for that specific nature of sports? For example, creatinine. Now, of course, for a young group, it is not advisable, but for the senior athletes particularly, creatinine is considered as safe supplements for sprinting. What happens is ATP-CP replenishment. So once you exert that kind of energy in that 10 seconds, it needs to be replenished for the next shot as well. So this is generally done by creatine. So if you are taking that creatine supplement, you need to have understand that the amount of creatine and what kind of sport that you're into, how much needs to be taken, when it has to be taken. There is absolutely science to this. So you need to take guidance from a sports nutritionist who can guide you better in that specific sports. Phase of training. Now, phase of training, there are various phases in your training. It's a preparatory phase where you tend to gain little bit muscle mass. Also the weight. Then there is a pre-competition phase where you try to tone down your body to a certain specific, and then there is a peak when you're reaching at a competition level, and then there is an end of competition or the post competition. So there are different methods, like when you want to have this kind of supplements depending upon the phase of training. You cannot be at the peak of your of your performance all the time. There is always a cyclic thing, and your nutritional planning and supplements has to be done accordingly. Again, coming to intraday training, is you're during training. If I am going to have an endurance the next day, you should have a good amount of complex carb the day before so that you can have a sustainable energy levels. If you're going to the sprinting, you need to have a pre-workout, some supplements. As I mentioned, during workout, if your training is, you need to decide whether it is 30 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hour, 2 hours, depending upon your training load and intensity. You need to decide the electrolytes and the sports drink part of it. After training, if you are doing more amount of physical exertion where the muscle is getting drained out, then yes, that is a day you need to depend on the protein supplements at the end of it. So you have to plan your supplement requirements on various aspects. Competition phase, again, you need not have to take anything new in your competition. There is no supplements or a pill which can make you a champion, but a wrong choice of any supplements or any kind of food can take away your medal. So try to, don't change anything during competition. You need to practice what needs to be done at what time, and then only you can use the supplements during the competition. So again, supplements are again replenishing your what do you say, the micro and macronutrients during the competition and pre-competition. So you need to understand and plan accordingly. As I mentioned earlier, uh, it needs to be extremely important to have a dope-free certified supplements. Unfortunately, India is number one, as I mentioned, in dope violation. As per FSSI, about 60-65% of the supplements available in the market are not made for sports person, or it has all the ill effect, which are, which is consumed more than have a lot of side effects on it. And if you are into sports and at elite sports, if you are found positive, then there is a chance of, you getting banned for several years. So, I'm nearing to my end of my presentation. Just, I know the common questions. Of course, we can have some time for open to the floor as well, but these are the normal questions that we normally get. Is my nutritional different from non-athlete friends? Yes, your requirement is more because you need, your activities is more intense than your non-athlete friend. You are growing also, you are playing also, so your nutritional needs are definitely different than your non-athlete friend. Can I consume almond chana before training? As I mentioned earlier, you should avoid eating almonds and protein part of it before your training part. Try to have a small bite of banana or dates uh, before your training, so that it will help you to delay the fatigue part of it. Again, I have already mentioned the difference between energy drink and sports drink. Replacing fluid water or sports drink, that also we have already discussed. Many, parents, I've seen so many parents when the competition is going on, they will come and give them Glucon-D or, even the honey kind of thing. Try to understand if it is too much concentration of sugar, it will have more adverse effect than the good one. The concentration of sugar, the solution of any sports drink needs to be up to 7 to 8%. It may not taste sweeter, but then it will give more sustaining energy. If it's too sugary, it will increase, it gives a spike and drop down drastically. So it will do more harm than anything good if you are giving such kind of sugary thing in a concentrated form. Can I eat anything I want when I'm training? As I told, there is a scientific approach to the training part of it. If you're doing endurance, if you're doing cross training, if you're doing weight training, you need to monitor your supplementation depending upon that. Rice, potato make me fat? Absolutely no. It's a good amount of, again, eating too much is adding, of anything which is, if you are eating more, it is going to be harmful, whether it is a rice, potato, or sugar or salt, anything. But yes, rice potato, we term this as super rich carb, I would say. These are complex carb. You need to have this at least 2 to 3 hours before your training part of it, so that you can get a sustainable energy during your training. Which protein is suitable for me? Regular milk, whey, soya. Milk, yes, you can have milk on daily basis, but the amount of protein that you get from pure milk is less. And you don't drink milk alone, you take chocolate, Bormita, sugar. So it again adds more amount of simple carbohydrates rather than milk protein. Soya, as already mentioned, whey is the best suited supplement, or the protein requirement is this is the most safe that is being widely used on a global platform. Coming back to reading the labels, whenever you're going in the market, taking for yourself or for your son or anybody, please try to read the labels properly. FSDU for sports person, this is a separate category. FSSI has come up, which is specifically very suitable for sports person. There are gold standards, BSCG, Batch Substance Control Group. This is third-party testing for supplements, which is normally tested in US and getting it certified as dope-free. And of course, there is an Indian lab also now, which has come up under Sports Ministry. You need to check up the supplements which are available. You need to check for at least 2 out of these 3, so that you can consume it, and be sure that you are not consuming anything extra, but is as per your need. Again, You should not decide what is being consumed by your friends or otherwise. You need to take a proper guidance from a qualified sports nutritionist, which is available nearby. Again, a sports nutritionist has to be a qualified one, not the one who has gained the certificate just by, undertaking 2 months or 3 months course. You need to have a, proper screening of yourself, understand your body, understand your sports, do the 3-day diet recall, do the blood profiling, understand your body thoroughly, understand your sports, and then decide what is good for you, for your sports, and you to build a career in sports. Again, thank you so much for joining the mission, Win with Clean Sports. And thanks again, Sports Champ, for organizing this wonderful event and allowing me to share our experience in this field. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prasanna sir. It was really insightful. We'll just open the floor for questions from all the participants. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand or you can just ask. So there are anyone who has any questions? So before anyone asks, let me ask you one. Is there any formula to calculate how much protein one should take, or is there any tool or website where someone calculate their nutrition level?
Yeah, particularly see, it's a two-way, I would say. One is that you understand the 3-day diet recall, try to understand your daily eating habits. Uh, I don't know if anybody has, but we have a online website which is called as Sports Nutrition Analysis Program.
Mhm.
If you can send that, we have the form 3-day diet. If somebody
Mhm.
fills it in detail, we can guide them to understand whether they are having adequate amount of protein from the natural sources, or or they need any kind of change in their basic diet, or they want any additional supplements or not. So
Fantastic.
there is an availability of this activities.
What is the website you said? Can you repeat it so that everyone can note it?
It's sportsneutralysis.com. Lysis,
Sportsneutralysis.com.
yeah, yeah.
Fantastic. Anyone has any questions? Yes, Parth.
Sir, I wanted to ask you a question regarding like the basic formula to calculate the required protein is like body weight into 1.5 grams of protein daily, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask that the accumulation of protein in every person is different, right? So like if my body is able to digest more protein and absorb it, someone
Hmm.
else will not be able to absorb it. So like what's the perfect way to calculate it?
Good question, Parth. Actually, these are whatever we have discussed. It is just the theoretical part of it, like 1.8 or 1.2 or whatever things. It depends a lot on your metabolic rate. It depends upon a lot on your physical activity and the type of protein that you are consuming. So best way is to understand. You take the blood profiling, whether you will understand that whether proteins are getting accumulated in your body, or or you are draining it out in an adequate manner. Also, your diet profile will and your activity base, of course. So it's a scientific method again. That's the reason I would suggest you to take a proper sports nutrition analysis done on, and this is individual basis. It is not a generalized one. So these whatever discussed is very generalized one. Even, for example, we have been working with footballers like Udanta and Chetri. So their requirements, even they come from Northeast, their body structure is more or less similar. But Shetri has, he cannot, it's a lactogen intolerant kind of thing. So he need to have more on the isolate proteins. So you need to understand that to calculate what is needed by you individual, it's a specific assessment that is needed, and that can be done by any sports nutritionist only in a very sophisticated lab.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, Parth. Chetan, sir, you have a question. So can you please, you have posted it on the chat, but can you ask the same question? So it will be more precise. Does anyone has any questions? Yes, Vaibhavi?
Namaste, sir.
Yes.
I would like to ask a question like how do nutrition needs and challenges differ between male and female athletes? Like if we get the same diet, how can it differ?
See, basically, it's again, Vaibhavi, thanks for this question. See, you need to understand the physical, challenges for a male and female athlete. Normally, if you look at female athlete, they tend to add, accumulation of fat very fast. That is not the case with male athlete. Because of the periods, the female athletes may require more amount of iron. So even if it's the same food, you need to understand that the body structure is altogether different for the female athlete. You cannot have the same requirements for male and female in a very similar manner. The quantities may differ. The source of protein or source of nutrition may be the same, but the quantities that is required by male and female athletes may differ depending upon again height, weight, and the kind of exertion that she is putting in.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks.
Sir, I have a question, sir. What
Yes.
what food do you like recommend athletes? Like example, I play basketball and it's usually more than like 1.5 hour to 2 hours training. What food do you like prefer to eat before the practice?
See, basically, again, as I mentioned, you need to have good amount of carbohydrates before the training part of it. So 2 hours or 2.5 hours before you can have, and don't force kids to have full portion of it. Even a mashed potato about 2 hours before should serve the purpose. Half a banana or two dates again prior to the training part will help him to sustain the longer duration of his training aspect. And then he can have the sipping the sports drink in between, if it is a longer duration part of it.
Sir, what do you like recommend for like in the morning practices?
Same thing. There is no change whether it's morning or afternoon.
Okay.
At least if it is if if you are waking up at 5 o'clock and going to practice as 5:30 or 6, then you need to have at least two dates and a sip of water.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's Prasanna sir, she is Lakshya from Hyderabad. She's a national level basketball player.
Wow. Good.
Currently performing.
So we have been working with a lot of basketball players, as I mentioned, and even we are working with a lot of wheelchair basketball players. So I know the amount of exertion and amount of practice that you put in. And it's a combination. So you are running with dribbling the ball, running, and then you need to basket also. So, and if you're training for 2 hours or so, then you need to have multiple options. You need to have the natural form of creatine, which can come from the non-veg, because when you are basketing it, you are, that spurt of energy is required. If you are running also at a specific pace, along with ball dribbling. So you need to have that kind of balance activity. But again, you need to understand the body requirement first.
Okay,
So
sir.
there is one question from Chetan sir. Currently, I am having a physical fitness test in school. What are the best pre-test supplements or natural food options for school-going students to enhance their energy, focus, and endurance during the physical fitness test?
Uh, yes, basically, again, particularly for the physical fitness test, the you need to ensure they are not tested empty stomach. They need to have, I don't if there is no possibility of having, I know mashed potatoes and other things are very complex thing, but at least they can have banana, half banana or two dates. Again, these are the very cheapest form and available everywhere. So I would suggest before the test and after the test, before the test, they can have two dates and a sip of water. because they don't want to have that kind of fullness during the testing parameters. But once they are done with it, try to give them half a banana or one banana, so that whatever the energies has been depleted for the physical testing will be replenished immediately, and they will not have the dizziness kind of thing.
Fantastic. So one last question before we
Yeah.
end. Anyone has any questions? Parth has raised their hand, but
Yes, sir. Sir,
yes, Kalyan. Just Parth,
uh,
wait because Parth, wait because others also should get a chance. So Kalyana, yes.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Thanks for detailed session. But I have one question. Most of the sports require a lot of agility, like basketball you mentioned, badminton, every sport for that matter. So I see that kids having very tender joints like knee, ankle, shoulder, and elbow. So the nutritions, whatever you are suggesting, protein diets and all, will they take care of your bones, joints, especially that liquid or fluid in between these ligaments? That strengthening of those things as well, or it is just proteins will help us to build the muscle strength
No,
so
no.
that.
Again, it's a good question, Kalyana. One, we need to understand one very basic thing is that, protein, of course, we always correlate with protein with bulky, muscles. Uh,
Hmm.
yeah, unfortunately, but that is not the case. And yes, you are right. When you are taking excess amount of, for example, if a yoga person is having the same amount of protein as the kushti wala, then we are making a serious mistake in this. So we need to understand the sports as well. If you are, agility, of course, is definitely needed for certain sports, but at the same time, you should not have the extra muscles that gets builded around that, so that your agility gets reduced because of having
Yes.
this amount of protein. So the
Yeah, yeah.
proteins are needed, but as I mentioned, adequate amount of quantity. You need to, unfortunately, in India, more is better. That is not the case. You should restrict yourself. Maybe if it is required 10 grams, you need to give only 10 grams, not 8 grams or 15 grams. That we need to monitor. Yes, again, collagen is very, very important. If you are a non-vegetarian, then you may get it from fish or otherwise, because again, joints are very critically required. So collagen again helps building those, soft tissues that is required to be built. So protein is one of the element I would say, but that is not the only. Along with that, if you have it, but protein is something which we lag a lot in India. All our diet is carb based, east, west, north, south. You go to any part of India, what we lack is a good amount of protein, and because of that, we other things gets accumulated and the problems get accumulated. If you are able to sort out protein and collagen part of it, I think we are sorted to most of the this problem that are likely to be there. But yes, quantity is needs to be restricted.
Okay. Yeah, thanks, sir. Thank you. I got it.
So we'll take last question from Parth. Yes, Parth.
sir, I wanted to ask you a question regarding the supplement creatine monohydrate. So, like, is there any safe age to consume creatine, or like it depends on the activity we do?
See, as I mentioned, first of all, creatine is required. See, our body also makes creatine. If you take external creatine on a daily basis, then your body will basically forget to make it. So again, that is not advisable. So there is always a cyclic requirement for creatine. And again, creatine, if it is needed, you need to understand why you need it, or really whether you need it or not. That can be checked out from the game that you're into. If it is a sport of exertion that you're doing, maybe in a boxing, you have a punch. Maybe in a football, if you are running at a very high speed, if you're into cricket, between the runs. So all these things, creatine does matter a lot. Okay, but then if there is a cycle to it, if you're so normally the creatine is taken 2 months prior to your to your peak. So that is called a loading
Right.
phase. 1 week you take 20 grams of creatine in a day. But that again, you should monitor, you should be keep yourself hydrated, because you need to have a lot of water. There is a tendency of weight gain because of your larger intake of water during creatine monohydrate. If you're taking for that 7 days, it is called a loading phase. And that
Hmm.
also 20 grams of creatine should not be taken at one time. It should be divided into 5 grams at an interval of 4 hours. And then there is a maintenance phase. So once you're done with this loading phase, then maintenance phase is 0.03 gram of your body weight. So it may come up to 1 gram, 2 gram, or 3 gram. Then you need to consume till your competition is there. And once competition gets over, you need to stop it completely. So that's the cyclic way.
Okay, sir.
Thank you.
And like,
Thank you,
is it?
Parth. We are out of time now, Parth. We
Okay.
have taken that much amount of time from Prasanna sir. So, Prasanna sir, thank you so much for your time and giving so much insightful and having so much patience of giving answers to all, especially from your side and also to the audience. Thank you so much for your time, sir. And thank you everyone
Thank
for
you.
the
Thank you so much for the honor. Thank you.
Yeah,
and everyone
thank you. Thanks a
and
lot.
everyone, thank you for being a part of this session. And there's a lot of many every month. There's a different sessions coming, and looking forward to educate you with that. Thank you, Prasanna sir. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
your time.
Thanks. Bye. 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 Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everyone.